The greatest power you possess is your ability to choose. Join Lowe's Moore as he reveals how you can begin to maximize that power by exploring yourself on the deepest levels and committing to making lasting and positive changes. Get ready to achieve breakthroughs that will lead to accelerated growth and transformation, because you are now tuned in to The Blueprint.
Why the actions contradict the lamb. I'm fellowshipping when I'm with the fam. That's more relations, that's foreign and foreign.
Good evening and welcome back to the Blueprint Podcast. Man, it seems like it's been an eternity because I was used to, in terms of it, many of you know, thank you for your support of the Blueprint Podcast. Many of you know I've only done it, or I only do the podcast once a week. But my wife, I want to start off like this. My wife and I were, when we started, well, particularly I started the new year, right? And somebody sent me a link of the 31 days of wisdom challenge, right? And so for 31 days, I was in this wisdom challenge, going through the 31 chapters of Proverbs, and they had many guests explaining the Proverbs. I learned more about wisdom in the new year. It was very powerful because I never dove into Proverbs like that, man. To hear that each scripture broken down and dissected, it was just awesome to go through it. And it was live, and then they recorded them. So the crazy thing is, you know, I did not, and I confessed, I did not make every live every day. So I'm probably made 50% of it, 50% of the live wisdom challenges, because they come at different times, you know, during the day. And I was, you know, got grandkids. And so I had to, you know, navigate that particular situation. But I did make 50%. And you know what? I made all 31 of them because I ended up seeing the replay and then I shared them, right? So I ended up finishing all 31, but I didn't make them all live, like when they were happening, but I did make them up. And so in the midst of it, we were traveling, my wife and I, and we were listening to one of the wisdom challenges. And my wife said, man, you ought to do, February was coming up. And she said, man, you ought to do a 29-day love challenge. And I was like, I don't know about that. That sounds like work, right? But then as I was praying and thinking about what she had said, right, I conceded to do it. And then when I thought about doing it or made the decision to do it, man, the love of God came over me. And so for 29 days, I was for the whole month of February, right, I did the 29-day love challenge. Every day, 12 noon to 12:30, I call it take a pause during your lunch break, right? No more, by the time the 29 days was up, it was no longer a lunch break, it was a love break. And so I want to say, and we talk about our activists, random acts of kindness. And we did this for 29 days. We will not stop. The 29 days are up. We believe that love is a remnant. We believe that love is transformational. We believe that, man, that if whatever problems or situations that we have or issues that we have right now, that the love of God has the power to solve all those things. Right. And so Joyce Meyer's book called The Love Revolution, right, she identifies in her book that selfishness was the number one problem to the reason why we can't love. Right. We think more of ourselves more than we think about others. And so, you know, my job was during the 29 days was to shift the paradigm, to change the way we think. Because we think from a fear-based mindset. We think from that mindset. Every day we wake up in fear. Every day we wake up and try to figure out what's the problems. How can we solve the situation? We think about the political things that are going on. We think about the violence that are going on. We think about all the craziness that's going on. And so we put ourselves in a fear mindset, right? And not a faith or a love mindset. So we were trying to shift that paradigm, change that culture, change a mindset in 29 days. It says it takes 21 days to change a habit, 21 days to learn something. Like you want a word, you don't know a word. If you concentrate on that word, spell that word out, sound that word out, read that definition, in 21 days, it becomes yours, right? So we believe in 29 days, right, we were able to shift the paradigm. And so when I wake up in the morning, I don't wake up and think about what's going on in the news, what's going on in the politics. I wake up and think about, what does God want me to do today, right? And what kind act can I do? What does God want me to say to someone? Who does he want me to call? I become aware. I become aware of people's needs, right, more than my own needs. And so this is a challenge. Yeah, I challenge you, right? And I thank you for, I'm thankful to all the people that got on, that accept the challenge, that to change their mindset, right? And that we know that love can conquer any situation. So each podcast from this moment on, as we move forward, we're still in the challenge. Every day, we're still thinking about the challenge every single day. And look, I welcome, if anybody's out there and you were able to attend any of the sessions, man, if somebody's done something for you, right, a random act of kindness, if somebody's done something for you, put it in the chat. Or if you just thought, right, because the challenge was on, that, man, I'm going to do this for somebody else, please let us know. And the reason we're not doing it because we're trying to get accolades, or we're trying to become famous, or we want people to notice us. This is our God-given responsibility, right? To care for others, to love people, right? And so I thank you for your support. Hey, thank you for helping me get through the 29 days, right? And we will continue this. We will continue to talk about this, because we know that God is love, and that the love of God is the solution for all that we need today. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys, and welcome back to the Blueprint Podcast. So let me get rolling here, right? Let me get rolling. I want to start off today. I want to talk about this month. Now we're in March, right? It seems like February went so fast, right? Time is just moving, right? I remember we started the Love Challenge on February 1st, and now here it is, March, right? So time is moving. And so check this out. This month, just like last month, there were a number of things that happened last month. So I want to get through this real quick. We were celebrating love. I consider February the love month, because Valentine's Day is in it. And also we celebrated Black History. So I want to show this little video real quickly on Black History as we leave in February. And this is a reminder that Black History never ends. Just like we ended on the 29th, and we will do a second annual in next February, but we don't stop loving because we ended on the 29th. And we don't stop celebrating Black History because it ended on the 29th, right? So check this out. I got a Black History moment for you. Check this out real quick. And it's some quotes and affirmations.
You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like life, I'll rise.
I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism and war, that the bright daybreak of peace and brotherhood can never become a reality.
We declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
Soul has no color, no shape, no form. And you have the power to change perception, to inspire and empower, and to show people how to embrace their complications and see the flaws and the true beauty and strength that's inside all of us.
That's right. I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
Change will not come if we wait for some other person or if we wait for some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
For those who marched, and for those who prayed, and for those who sang and bled, and for those who believed, and for those who died, I stand as 10,000 to the 10th power.
Wow. And I want to say thank you to the Mount Vernon Public Library here in Mount Vernon. And they did a tribute to many of the athletes from Mount Vernon. You see there's a picture of me, Ray Williams, Gus Williams, and Rudy Hackett. So I want to thank, and I guess they put together a package. I have to go pick it up, but a package, and they celebrated all the people from Mount Vernon during the course of Black History. So thank you very much. And then this month we will be celebrating women. This is Women's History Month, and so I want to pay this tribute to women as we get started in this month.
Women's History Month. Now, kicking off Women's History Month on this March 1st, and we want to turn now to Nightline co-anchor Juju Chang, who's going to give us a little history lesson on how it all grew into the celebration we now know today.
It's March 1st, which marks the beginning of Women's History Month, a month-long celebration to honor women's often overlooked contributions to American history, like those of Elizabeth Blackwell, the first woman to officially become a doctor in the United States in 1849. Sojourner Truth, Susan B. Anthony, and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, all leaders in the women's suffrage movement. And Harriet Tubman, who led hundreds of enslaved people to freedom. But what's the history behind Women's History Month? It all began in 1978 with only a week-long celebration. It was organized by the Sonoma County Commission on Women. The week of March 8th was selected to correspond with International Women's Day, which had been celebrated around the world on March 8th since 1911. The movement began to gain momentum, and the following year, other communities and school districts initiated their own celebrations of Women's History Week. Then in 1980, the National Women's History Project lobbied for national recognition, and they were heard, because in February of that year, President Jimmy Carter issued the first proclamation, which declared the week of March 8th as National Women's History Week. 6 years later, the same organization petitioned for an expansion on the event, and in March of 1987, Congress passed Public Law 100-9, proclaiming March as Women's History Month. Now every March and all month long, we celebrate countless extraordinary women who've earned their place at the table. And the rest, as they say, is history.
It's history. Thank you, Juju Chang, for that.
Awesome. So we're in Women's History Month, the month of March, right? And I want to say, because out the front, you know, my mom, my wife, my daughters, right? Hey, man, we celebrate you. And of course, this month we celebrate, I say my mother, right? My mother-in-law, Shirley Wallace. I want to say happy birthday to her. Heavenly birthday. I mean, she is truly missed. I mean, we miss Mima, right? Tremendously. I mean, man, how powerful would it have been if Mima had a chance, right? To, you know, these will be not just grand, but great grands, right? And so we miss her tremendously, man, and we wish her a happy heavenly birthday, and man, we love you, man. So let's keep rolling. I want to give my book of the week. Yeah, this book, Gloria Copeland, Live Long, Live Strong. Now there was another. This is the newest version of this book, but this was just a written letter or a story in a guide. My wife, I got sick a long while ago in Albany, New York. I was sick, very sick, and I was dealing with I guess acid reflux. It was just messing with me. I thought I was dying, right? I literally thought I was dying, and my wife wasn't used to me being sick, right? And she's used to me just getting up, moving, and going around and stuff like that. But I was, man, I guess it proceeded past a week, right? And going to the emergency room and going to the emergency room. I went away and went to the emergency room. I mean, I was just messed up, man. My stomach was messed up. Everything was messed up. And, you know, I had made up, I started reading this. It was an article, and I seen it. And I started reading this article by Gloria Copeland. It was Live Long, Live Strong. And I started reading why about divine health, right? And I started reading all the scriptures and repeating the scriptures and repeating the scriptures. And I just started to believe. When I went to the doctor, he started giving me these Zantac, you know. And he said, man, people could be on Zantac for the rest of their life. You know, and I'm not a real pill taker. So, you know, so I was like, I don't know if I could do this, you know. So I prayed to God, and I told my wife, look, go to the supermarket and get me some fruit, get me some vegetables and so forth and so on. And I started on this cleanse and everything like that, man. But that book, the book that you now see before me, because somebody called me the other day or texted me the other day and said, man, remember you said back in it, you know, a couple of years, I heard you mention about this book about, you know, when you were dealing with acid reflux. Do you remember the book? And this was the book. Gloria Copeland was doing this teaching on divine health. And this was the book. And I ended up giving it to him. And also I found I keep it in my phone. Live Long, Live Strong is just it's a nice long study of the Word of God and regarding health, and so that's this book. If you're dealing with some symptoms, some things that you may be going through and stuff like that, and you're looking for, you know, a solution, right? This is a very good and powerful reading, right? Live Long, Finish Strong, right? It's a continuation from Live Long, Live Strong. So that's my book of the week, Gloria Copeland. And my word of the week is strong. Be strong. Right? Be strong. Man, find that. Look that word up. Find the definition. Because we're in a time where we got to be strong. Right? And we can't faint. Be strong. That's my word of the week. And my affirmation of the week is, all right. Challenges make you discover things about yourself if that you never really knew. The print on here is so small. I maybe need some glasses over here. He said they're what makes you instrumental stretch. What makes you go beyond the norm. That's Cicely Tyson. She's an actress. And Cicely is talking about, man, right, that the challenges that you face.
Read it again, Lo. Challenge makes you discover things about yourself that you never really knew. They're what make the instrument stretch, what makes you go beyond the norm.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, because on my computer, man, them words were like small. I thought when I printed this, it was bigger. Right? I need bigger print. So that's my affirmation of the week, my Pierce Harper affirmation of the week. And here's my music of the week and my movie of the week. Hold On, I'm Coming. Right. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember this, man, but this is Sam and Dave. I was thinking about, I don't know what made me think about this song. Hold on, I'm coming. Yeah, I know my guest knows that song, man. Sam and Dave had some great hits back then. And then the movie Sweetwater, former basketball player, Sweetwater Clifton of the New York Knicks. Right. That's my music and my movie. And the thing is, it made me think of, because my guest, I ain't going to tell his age, but, back in 1969, right, those were hits from 1969, 68, 69. Those are hits from back then. So that's what made me think about Sam and Dave. And then, my person of the week, my former coach, James Jones. He's in the hospital right now, and I always say that the greatest coach. People always ask me who is the greatest coach, who is your best coach, and I would always say Mr. Jones was my best coach. 10 years old, 11 years old, all the way up to high school. He was just truly amazing. All the guys that you've seen on the screen earlier that we showed in regards to the Black history, he helped to coach Rudy Hackett and Gus Williams and Ray Williams and Sam Williams and Earl Tatum and so many others. Keep him in your prayers. I got a chance to go over and see him on yesterday. Definitely keep him in your prayers. But he's my person of the week, and we'll keep you updated. And then my Black history moment is Earl the Pearl Monroe. My Black history moment person, Earl the Pearl Monroe. I'm sure we'll hear from my guest about Earl the Pearl, and we'll have a conversation about him for Black History Month. And let's get rolling. Happy birthday to Mother Dixon. Elder Mother Dixon, we love you. And, man, Mother's been around for a little while now. Also, want to say congratulations again to Mount Vernon High School winning the county championship for the 100th time. No, this is joking. But, hey, this team here, I got to pay homage to, because this team was not projected to win the county this year, right? And I always tell people it's not how you start, but how you finish, right? And so a lot of people can play well during the season, but Mount Vernon has made it a point to play well in the playoffs. All they got to do is get to the playoffs. They know what to do when they get to the playoffs. Right. And they did it with little to no experience. Right. And they won the championship again today. So, congratulations to you guys. And Tavion, man, he's like 5'6". Right. And this was what was said last year when I brought in West Virginia, University of Arkansas came to see some players that we had last year. And the University of South Carolina came in to see some players. And he was playing in an open gym, and the guy's 5'11", 6 feet, whatever it was. And the coach from West Virginia at the time, the assistant coach at West Virginia, said if he was 6 foot, 6'3", he would be the best player in the gym, and we'd be coming to recruit him. Right? He's 5'6", but he plays like he's 6'1", 6'2". Right? Awesome player. So congratulations also. Many of you know that my daughter Sherelle and her husband, they both are assistant coaches for Stony Brook University. This afternoon they won the CAA regular season championship today. I got a chance to go to the game and get home in time to do the podcast. And to my wife's and my daughters, to their alma mater, Fairfield University won the MAC regular season. Right, I think Fairfield was like 23-1, right, and Stony Brook was like 23-3, right. So awesome seasons. Yep, 23-3. Yeah, 26-1. Fairfield, man. So yeah, awesome. Now the championship. Now it's getting to the conference now. So. Let's see what's next. What we got next? If we got the highlights, let's see here. Which one do I want? Yeah, give me Cassie 2. C. Russell 2.
Cassie's grandeur as a shooter was his fluidity. Just catch and shoot. Cassie was a phenomenal shooter, man. Rarely missed.
Cassie Russell is a transformative individual.
Cassie, right-hand side, at the foul line, looks for position and shoots a one-hander.
Everything must have an origin, and this is where it all started for Cassie Russell. Now, you mentioned George Washington Carver High School and Allgood Garden. They're synonymous with Cassie Russell.
As we came to high school, basketball became number one, just like that. And the rest is history.
Another pleasant surprise for the University of Michigan fans has been the tremendous first-year play of Cassie Russell.
Cassie worked harder than anybody, practiced harder than anybody, always wanted to be the best.
I got the gift to play ball from the Lord. I didn't get it in the crackerjack box. I got this gift to play this game from the Lord.
There came a point when Cassie and Bill Bradley were vying for the same position. It was polarizing. Cassie had a big following, so did Bill. They were very popular guys, so it was hard on the team trying to decide which player should be out there, who should be starting.
Cassie says, "Can I talk to you, Bill?" And I said, "Yeah." And so I went over and he said, "Bill, if I ever said anything or did anything in those years that hurt you, would you forgive me?" We hugged, and 40 years of tension disappeared.
After the cheering has ended and the applause and accolades begin to send, what now, my brother?
I remember telling Cassie was, "Come on, man, get her a rebound." He go, "Man, they pay me to score. I don't get no rebound." So he knew why he was in the league, and, that's what he did.
Welcome to the Blueprint. Cassie Russell, the great Cassie Russell. Oh, man. Hey, Cassie.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, look, let me tell you something, man. You guys, as a little kid, as a young man, growing up, were my heroes. I mean, of course, I loved, because I was a guard. You were a guard, too.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Walt Frazier. Maybe it was the round the back dribble, the sideburns, the whole Clyde, thing. But
yeah, it was probably the sideburns, man.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it was more, because you probably grew up on, the Harlem Globetrotters. So when you were a little kid, you like fancy stuff.
Right.
And so then, Walt had that round the back, around the back dribble, he throw it one side, throw it the other side. And so I was attracted to that. And then he would make around the back passes, right? And so I was really attracted to that. And I was attracted to Earl because Earl used to do the spin.
Mm-hmm.
So I was more attracted, to Earl. But the whole 70s team, I mean, I knew everybody on the '70s team, man. I mean, I just, everybody said, "Are you a New York Knicks fan?" Yeah, I'm always a fan of New York. I live in New York. I'm always a fan of New York, but I'm always a greater fan, right, of the 70, 72, right, New York Knicks. And here's the crazy part: when I do my speaking engagements, right, for Career Day, I always start out with this, right? I hope you guys are able to see this in your lifetime, right? And then I say, no matter wherever I speak, I said the New York Knicks won an NBA championship. Everybody goes like, "What?"
Yeah.
So I just hope they see it in my lifetime. So welcome to the Blueprint, Cassie.
Well, thank you. It's certainly a pleasure to be with you. And we think about 1969-70, which was the championship year. And it was a blessing to be able to say that I was on a championship team.
Look, man, you was on one of the greatest teams ever. I mean, when you talk about teams that play together, guys that look like they enjoyed playing together. I mean, guys that move the ball. I mean, yeah, the camaraderie, man. Whew, it was just great to see, man. Great to experience.
Well, it certainly was a great experience coming directly out of college in 1966, being the number one pick, and then playing in New York. What a great place to start your professional career in the Big Apple. So those were 5 great years. I learned a lot of basketball. I can probably still hear Red Hoseman yelling, "Russell, see the man in the ball, will you?" So,
You know what? And they don't even say that today.
yeah, that's Los. That's very important. I mean, seeing the man in the ball, it can keep you out of foul trouble. You can keep your man from getting offensive rebounds, and of course, I implemented that in my coaching and taught that if you're in the V, there's no way your man should beat you to the ball. So, if I knew then what I know now, I probably would have been a better player or maybe a better coach.
Yeah, well,
I
at
guess we
least
can all say that, can't we?
yeah, because we most of the time we're telling people, right? The corrections that we needed to make
Right.
when we were playing. When the coach kept saying, "Hey, man, see the ball in the man," So now we're telling people like, "Man, you need to see the ball in the man," because we done heard that enough already.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, it really boils down to this. It's not the big things that win games. It's the little bitty things that make the big things come true. Like seeing the man in the ball, shooting it at the apex. Got to have rotation. Footwork. Footwork is paramount in the game, and because you hear announcers always talking about what great footwork a player has, and so those are things that I really learned coming up, and they were a blessing for me because it allowed me to move to the next level.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a lot to cover in regards to ball, but I wanted to digress for a moment, right? And I want people to get to know Kazi a little bit better because there are some people who may know, right? They know you play with the Knicks, you know you won a championship, they know you can shoot the ball, right? But the other things like where did Kazi come from? How was mom and dad? I mean, what was their perspective in helping you grow up around family, around the importance of education and the importance of faith? So talk about mom, dad, siblings, talk about that experience.
Yeah, what a great experience. Was raised in a Christian family. Uh, my mother taught us about the Word, and of course that was growth there. And the fact that I was blessed to be a part of a Christian family and learn about the Word, Sunday school, church, whatever. And then, of course, to be found in a PE class and taught how to play the game of basketball just felt like I was being blessed because, the Lord was blessing my life. I was found in a PE class, taught how to play. 3 or 4 years later, get a scholarship to go away to college. 3 or 4 years later, become the number one pick. And I think it's safe to say for me that I look back over it and I feel like the Lord had his hands on me from day one, especially learning the word of God. Now, practicing what you preach is a different level, but knowing the word of God and then being blessed to be found in a PE class and taught how to play the game, which afforded me a chance to not only get a good education and to meet people, but a chance to go away to college. Then 4 years in college, couldn't play as a freshman, but what a great blessing it was to go to the University of Michigan and then to be drafted in the pros and to play a number of years with a gift that was given from above. And I thank God every day for that gift, which has allowed me, Lowe's, to meet people, get an education, go places where I probably would not have been able to go as a basketball player. But when I look back over family, it all started in Chicago. Born and raised in Chicago, taught the word, had family values, homework. You got to get the books. No books, no ball. That was the philosophy there. So it's really been a blessing when I look back over these 80 years that God has blessed me with. I'm so excited that I had a chance to do something that I enjoyed. I got an education by way of it. I learned about the Word of God by way of that, which has given me a platform to continuously talk about that. But it has blessed me. Look at coming up in Chicago, tough area, raised in a Christian family, uh, getting a scholarship to go away to college, getting an education, getting a chance to play at the highest pinnacle of basketball, which is the NBA, and then later being called into ministry in 1987. So I just really feel like the Lord has given me this platform, and as I look back over it, what a blessing.
Yeah, and I was looking at some things that you would, Mr. Basketball USA, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was,
Michigan retired your jersey,
yes, sir.
right? Consensus All American, right? First team twice,
Mm-hmm.
right? National College Player of the Year, right? I mean, rookie first team, NBA All Star in '72, and an NBA champion in 1970. I mean, look, you talking like you didn't do anything. I mean, a lot of people went to college, right? A lot of people
Yes.
went to college, but not everybody's a star when they go to college.
Well, Lowe's, what's funny about that? I didn't think about the being a star because it was really a blessing because a lot of people don't know this, but I was actually headed to Cincinnati. Oscar Robinson came to my high school and had lunch as a senior and was talking to me about going to University of Cincinnati. Now, here's a guy that I absolutely idolize in terms of playing basketball, mindset. Dick Barnett told me once, if you're behind his team with 2 minutes to go, forget it, because he knew how to win. But he tried to talk me into going to Cincinnati, and then I prayed about it. I had about 4 or 5 teams left, and I prayed about it, and I said, well, Lord, here I am. I need to make a decision on where I need to go to college. And the Lord led me to Michigan. And the rest, of course, is history. And I'm so grateful for that because a lot of people thought that Michigan, that's a football school. So at that time, they'd done a great job of recruiting. So I'm just really blessed. I don't think anything happenstance or by luck. I think there's always some divine intervention in. And I was led to Michigan.
Wow. Yeah. It's one thing. Okay, the Lord led you there. you know, and he led you there, and man, you just used you mightily.
Yeah, I look back over it, and he gave me that drive. I couldn't play as a freshman, so I had a chance to kind of observe the varsity level. And I still have the record for the mile. You used to have to run the mile. Our teams did run the
Hmm.
mile, and they had the bond. And I still laugh about that because as a sophomore, I ran the mile in 5:29, and as a junior 5:19, and as a senior 5:09. And I guess my thinking in that, Lowe's, was that you were never going to beat me or beat the team I played on because we were not in shape. I mean, we realized that playing basketball physically, it's very demanding. It's a commitment. And so I was really blessed to play with some great players at Michigan. And it was just the right place that the Lord had placed me. And I think when He's got His hands on you, some good things can happen. Um, All American and Big Ten MVP. We won the Big Ten 3 straight years. So I was just really blessed, and I don't think it was something that was uh, by luck. I think this was divine intervention for me because
Hmm.
I utilized a gift, and I enjoyed playing the game. The game was great, kept you in good shape, and got a chance to get an education, got a chance to meet a lot of people, travel around the world, got introduced to golf. So it's been great for me. So I'm really grateful.
Yeah, and the thing is, man, when you talk about one of the things that when people don't know, right, that as well as a basketball player, whether you make a high school team or you get recruited by a college, a
Mhm.
lot of it has to do with back then more than your basketball game, but your character
Right, right.
and your attitude, your work ethic. So all I've ever heard about Kazi, right, was his love for the game,
Hmm.
right, his respect for the game,
Yes.
right, and his intensity for the game. I mean, you played the game hard, both defensively, offensively, rebounding the ball. You play hard all the time, and that's a lot of people don't have those attributes. A lot of people can't, and especially when I tell young people today, right, there's no such thing as practice, right? It's only the game. So the kind of effort you're putting forth in the game, because we're gonna put forth our all in the game, right? And we'll say in practice it's just practice,
Hmm.
but great players play hard in practice, like
Yes,
it's a
sir.
game,
Absolutely.
right? And you bring the same thing to the game. So you brought that same thing to the game, that energy. And I remember watching because what Walt was just talking about the in regards to time, right? Bill Bradley's an All American, right? Kazi's an All American. Kazi's a first round draft pick, right? You and Bill play the same position,
Hmm.
right? And yet everybody want to start.
Hmm.
But talk about like because what I seen as a young kid, right? What I seen as a young kid, well, like I didn't see that confrontation. No, I didn't see that that competition. But what I seen was that Bill Bradley played hard, right, when he was in the game, and then when Kazi Russell came in the game, he didn't let that interfere with what he needed to do on the court. You came
Right.
with that same energy and intensity all the time.
Well, when I came in the league in 1966 as a first round pick, there was a lot of pressure because I think the last number one pick the Knicks had was Paul Holt. And so I came in basketball in New York. You can't hide, though. Either you are
Yeah, yeah.
or you're not. And so for me, the love of the game, the fact that I'm now doing something that I enjoy, and I got a chance to make a few dollars doing it. So I enjoyed that. But the fact that I practice, I'm a firm believer that you're going to play the way you practice because the game moves so fast, Lowe's. Everything now becomes instinctive. It becomes spontaneous. You fake left, go right. You take your jumper. Most basketball players have spots on the floor that they like to get to, and they become comfortable in those spots. And so you practice a certain way. Nobody is good enough or that great that they can turn it on and turn it off. You got to practice and make that commitment so when the curtains go up, you've had dress rehearsal. Now when the bell tolls and it's time to go out there and play, you don't have time to be asking yourself, well, have I done this or did I do this? No, it's time to go now. I mean, running the floor, taking your shots, trying to make the correct pass, because Oscar was so great at making the right pass seemingly at the right time. And so I was just really, really blessed because I had a chance to play him a little one-on-one in 1962. And that was the year he set the triple-double. And I learned so much basketball in about 20, 25 minutes playing him one-on-one that I took what I had learned and went back home the summer before I enrolled in Michigan. And I worked on those things, triple threat position, conditioning. Oscar would beat you with his eyes. He never watched the ball. He always kept his eye on me because you never knew what he was going to do because he saw the whole floor. So, it's just really, when I look back over my life, I just really feel like I've really, truly been blessed to be a number one pick, to play in the pros, and to utilize the gift that God has so graciously given me. I have to be grateful because I enjoyed playing, and it took me from Altgeld Gardens to Madison Square Garden. I always talk about.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I got an Oscar story. I was at West Virginia University, and Coach Gail Catlett had just become the head coach of West Virginia. And we were sitting in the locker room, this is before the season, sitting in the locker room on a Saturday, gonna go out and play a little pickup and stuff. And Coach Catlett walks in and he's holding the door, and then Oscar walks in. And we, I almost fell off my seat, man. I was like, oh, and everybody in the whole thing, in the locker room, like, oh, like we were speechless, like that's the big O right there. And so, and then Coach Catlett said, yeah, Mr. Robinson wants to play with you guys. I was like, what? So so he gets dressed and we all get dressed. We go out to the court, man, and they pick teams, and he's on the floor with us. And like the first 3 times up the court, right, we're thinking like we're gonna show Oscar like what we have.
Oh, okay.
And so everybody's just dribbling down the shooting. And we look and we like realizing like, yo, he's not on the court. We see him walking towards the locker room like that. And we didn't know really what to call him, so we run over to him like, yo, what Mr. Rob, we didn't know what to say. And he said, he said, look, your guys don't know how to play. I gotta go like that. And said, no, we want to learn how to play. Right. And so he turned around and he said, look, if a guy is open in front of you, you give him the ball. If the guy on the low post is open, you give him the ball. If somebody's guarding you, right? If somebody's not guarding you, now that's a good shot to take. But if somebody's guarding you and somebody's open, you need to pass the ball. So now the rest of the day, we're playing with him and the ball is moving.
With the movement, yeah.
Right? And we had a great time, but we learned that it was more powerful to move the ball than to hold the ball.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And, just having them there and sharing with us was just powerful within itself. It helped enhance me, as a player too, learning having him stop by and have a conversation with us and even get on the court with us.
Well, you can just imagine, here I am, high school senior, just been voted, Chicago Player of the Year. And here this great icon comes in to my high school to have lunch. And it kind of enhanced my popularity a little bit too. But had lunch with the big old, talked to me about going to Cincinnati, and I made a visit. And I spent some time with him. And then I played him one-on-one. I tell you, Lowe's, what I've learned in those 20, 25 minutes, man, changed my whole concept. Because when I went back home, I worked on all of that in the summer. And then I had the nerve to grow another half inch. At that time, I grew to be about 6'5" and a half. And he's 6'5". And so, I mean, what a thrill to be able to play him one-on-one and watch what he, could execute, the way he shot the ball. You never knew what he was going to do. And that's what I wanted to put in my game, to not be predictable, and to ball handle, and to be able to go left or right, or know when to pull up, know when to get that ball to your post-up guy, to keep him running and rebounding. So it was a great experience. And then I called him and I told him that I prayed about it, that I've been really led to Michigan. And so when I got into pros, he saw me. He said, "Yeah, I know you probably took a pay cut coming into the pros,
Yeah.
But what a great experience, Lowe's. I mean, I could just go on and on about the great experiences that I've experienced from using the gift that God gave me to play ball, because I was found, Lowe's, in a PE class. I knew my first love was baseball.
Right.
So, I mean, I was found in a PE class and told to stay after class. And PE, of course, physical education. And at that time, the instructor was the high school coach. So he said, "I need for you and two other guys to stay after class." And I thought, oh my goodness, because this guy had a reputation of being a disciplinarian. You didn't go to class, you couldn't play for him. You couldn't cut class. It was yes, sir, or no, sir. And you couldn't be late coming to practice. And so when he taught me how to play, it was just amazing. And that was in 1958. And then of course I grew between 59 and my sophomore year, my freshman and sophomore year. I grew from 6'1" to about 6'3". He didn't even recognize me. So I just really feel like I feel like the Lord has had His hands on me from day one in blessing me to play that game, which afforded me a chance to further my education, which furthered me a chance to do something to make a living. And what a great blessing it is to be able to do something that you enjoy, and you never know the people that you've impacted, because people come up all the time and say, I remember when you played, I remember watching you, my dad took you to the game and you signed my autograph. So those are just good vibes and good feelings that you get, and not knowing that you had impacted these people's lives, but the fact that you had a chance to do that, and then, of course, impact people's lives in other ways now, since I've been called in the ministry. So
yeah. So before we move further, I want to show this highlight. We'll show the people some of your skills from back in the day. This is some Cassie Russell highlights. Yeah. Check this out. I think we're gonna see some highlights. Wow. Man, there go that energy right there, boy. You that energy and love for the game.
Yeah, you look back on that and you say, at the age where I'm now, the Lord has really blessed me with 80 years, and you look back and you say to everyone who's probably joining in and had a chance to see this, and I can say to them, see, there was a time I was in shape.
Oh man, yeah. Now you can go back and you're coaching, assistant coaching right now, and you can go back and show them this this podcast and say, look at me, man.
Yeah.
All
But
them things.
a funny thing that you would say that is that a couple of years ago I was coaching, and a couple of the young ladies came up to me and they showed me a video of the All-Star game, and they looked at me and they said, "You're doing the same thing that you're teaching us," and I said, "Duh." Yo, thank. So again, to be able to share these things that I've learned, and to know that these are fundamentals that you're going to need. You can't escape it. Footwork, shooting it at the apex, balance, ball handling. And I try to encourage our young ladies at Flagler to, spread their fingers, which promotes rotation, releasing it at the apex, footwork. So I hope they understand that I certainly wouldn't tell them to do something that I didn't do myself.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and I want to talk a little bit about back there in the early years, and we have some pictures, man. I think you guys had a reunion, not too long ago with some of your teammates, looking back over the championships and stuff like that. Talk a little bit about some of the players you played with. Willis Reed. Of course, I met Willis a bunch of times, and he recruited Ray Williams. I mean, he drafted Ray Williams to the Knicks, and of course, he was down in Mount Vernon during the summer watching Ray play in the summer league and stuff like that. So, here goes some of the pictures. Of course, the great Dick Barnett, right? There go Phil Jackson, Dick Barnett, and man, Dick Barnett. You guys did some of you at Michigan, and I think Dick Barnett was at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I think it was Tennessee State. I think
Tennessee State, historically black college, Earl of Pearl Monroe, at Winston-Salem.
Right.
I mean, Dick Barnett. These guys, man, average like we talking about the day's players, right? We talk about the day's players, right?
Hey, listen.
But those guys in college, man, I think 1 year Dick Barnett was low over 30 points a game.
Yeah, he could shoot it low. Funny story about when I first got to New York as a rookie. He was down there shooting, and I came down where he was, and he says, "Oh, so you're this little high priced rookie we got, huh?" And so I started playing, and I reached for the ball. He said, "If you reach, I'll teach." So I mean, he was my roommate for 5 years, man. You know, on the road, and he sent me some information. He's now a doctor, and he sent me some information and told me that he sent me some material to read, and he said, "This is for your perusal." And I said, "You never use those words. You never use those kind of words when we were playing with the Knicks, you know." And he falls out. What a great guy Willis was. You know, the captain. And that was a guy that didn't like to practice. But boy, he sure came to play in the games. You know. And so at the time that I got there, Walt Bellamy was there. Dick Barnett. Of course, Dave DeBusschere didn't come until later via trade. And then, of course, Bradley came later. I think Bradley came in, I want to say, 68, 69, somewhere after he'd gone to the Rhodes Scholar in Oxford. But just really great teammates, learning experience, diversity, you know, people from all walks of life. Donnie Mae, Bill Hoskett, Mike Reardon, Bill Bradley,
Dave Stowell,
Dave the Ray, excuse me, Dave the Ray, Nate Bowman. So we had just a great group of guys. What a blessing to be able to be a part of that 69-70 World Championship team.
Yeah.
And I look at my ring sometime and I just flash back on how I just really feel like I've been blessed, you know.
Yeah. Now, if there's anybody, this is interactive. So if there's anybody out there that has any questions, you know, for Kazi, questions, comments, put them in the chat. He'll probably answer some questions for you if you got a question. So you could do that now, man. But I mean, this is just like, for me, it's just going back in time. You know, just watching you guys back then, man, helped me to build my dream. You know, I was building a platform, you know, for hopefully one day playing with the Knicks. Hopefully, you know, but there was things that, you know, when you research as a young kid, you research all the players, because you know all the players. You realize that all the players, of course, went to high school, right? And they had to do well academically in high school in order to get a scholarship to play college basketball,
Right,
you know,
right.
back then. And then, so you had to learn the process. And which I started to learn in the 6th grade, was the process. It wasn't just one day I was going to wake up and I was going to be in the league, right? And then once knowing what the process was, which is you said it earlier, you can't have one without the other. You can't have ball without the book.
Absolutely. And to piggyback off of that, my high school coach took that to another level in terms of being a disciplinarian. If you cut class, you couldn't play for him. He says, because if you're cutting class, how do I know I can depend on you? You might cut from the game, you know. So and you couldn't miss study table. So I learned that my first year, and I carried that over even as a player and as a former coach. Discipline, commitment. You have to have good study habits. Got to keep your grades up if you're going to play. And so you had to prioritize yourself in terms of what's valuable, what comes first. You see, and my dad would say, "Listen, you don't bring me good grades, you can't play." He said, "And by the way," he said, "I want you to look up the word extracurricular." And, you know, and that's extra. He said, "You know, there's no guarantee you're going to play sports." He said, "But you can't bring the books in." He said, "But sports is extra. If you want to play extra, you got to bring me a good grade." And so the discipline the yes sir, the no sir, to understand that helped me when I went on to the next level. Yes sir, no sir, taking care of yourself, being a gentleman, away to college. What a great experience. You know, you get to college and there's 28,000 people there. And then, of course, you play there at University of Michigan, then you go into the pros and you meet people and you travel around the world. So what a great experience. And then if somebody had told me from all of this that in 1987 I would get the call to go into the ministry, I would have ran out the other door.
Yeah, I think we, I think we got a couple of questions. What's the question before the? It says the family in Michigan is tuned in, and super proud as always to hear the awesome stories of the great Cassie Russell. That's from Jazzy. Yeah.
Yeah, what a blessing. And of course, when the one funny thing about Michigan that I will always remember on my visit to Michigan, Lowe's, it was the rumor that the coach lost the keys to Yost Fieldhouse. In other words, I never got a chance to see. You know how when you bring a kid in, you show him the gym where he's going to be playing, you take him into the locker room. But the rumor was he lost the keys to Yost Fieldhouse. And at that time, in the 40s, they built field houses. They didn't really build gym because when you walked into the field house, it was all dirt. You know, it was more military, but it was a firm structure. It was a solid foundation. But I never got a chance to see where I was going to play. So when I came back in September, I got a chance to go look at this, and I said, "Is this where we play?" but the floor was portable, though. It was low. It was portable, and it was a good floor, and it was Joe's Fieldhouse. But the fact that I got a chance to go where I feel the Lord placed me was a real blessing. And I look back over it, I have no doubt in my mind that the Lord had his hands on me in terms of going to Michigan. Because, I had 4 or 5 universities that I was trying to make a decision on. And God helped me. Now, you can't, tell everybody that, but, I just want the world to know that he had his hands on me because I couldn't play as a freshman, but I certainly went to a great institution, and I'm glad I had a chance to play college ball. And I kept growing. I got in college 6'4", 6'5", 6'5 and a half, and of course that really helped in my college years.
Yeah. And somebody asked, how was it to play with Willis Reed, the captain?
The Capitan, he liked when he would set the screens and I would come off the screens, and if he was open and you got it to him, you could rely you will get some more screens. Of course, we all know the great story about Willis coming out. And let me share this story with you. The series was tied at 3 games apiece, and there was some doubt as to whether or not Willis was going to play because he had contusion of his hip and he didn't play the 6th game. And by not playing the 6th game, there was some doubt as to whether or not he was going to play the 7th game. So I had gotten need in the thigh. So when the team came out, I stayed back and got a little bit more treatment to try to help that muscle. And he had stayed back because I think they were going to do some things to his hip. So after they finished with me, the team had already gone out. 19,500 are standing in anticipation. Is he going to play? So I come out, Lowe's, and you know how you come out from under the stands and you walk toward the floor, and this noise went up because they said that Willis and I had the same kind of silhouette. We kind of looked, although he was 6'10", I was 6'5 and a half. So I started toward the floor, and this roar went up. And then when I got out on the floor, they realized that I wasn't Willis, and it died down real quick, man. So it died down. So about 2 minutes later, here comes Willis. And he was walking like it was nothing wrong with him. And the place exploded because they don't have any idea what this guy went through to even be able to walk out there to play. Now, one of the things I've never understood is that he shot around They cheered every shot he made in warm up, man, because the series is tied 3 games apiece. And DeBusschere pulled me over to the side and he says, Kaz, look down at the other end. That was Wilt, Elgin, and Jerry all looking at the fact that Willis had come out and the place erupted. Okay. So what I've never understood is that I could see Willis dragging his leg, but I never understood why Wilt didn't get up on him because Willis hit his first 2 shots low. It was all off to the races then.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. So I mean, that's a great story. People might try to, they might try to imitate that, but you can't because of the severity of what he went through to get ready to come out there to play. I'm sure he will always be remembered for the fact because I think he said to Red, "You're gonna have to shoot me to keep me from going out there to play, man."
Yeah, I just remember, man, I had an album, right? The New York Knicks album,
Right.
and I used to put that thing on, man, and put a speaker out the window, man. Here comes Willis. Here comes Willis.
Yeah. And Lowe's, you can imagine 19,500 standing. This guy walks out on the floor. He probably could have run for president at that moment, and to see him come out just lifted us. And then he hit his first 2 jumpers and drag his leg. I mean, what a great commitment. And of course, whenever I look at my ring, I kind of have some nostalgia moments, I kind of glance into my ring and I see all these things, Willis and Dick Barnett and, winning the championship and being a part. That year we won the championship, we won 17 straight.
That's right.
So, we were part of history. So, I mean, what a great experience. No one will ever be able to take that great experience from me because I was blessed to be a part of it, to play at that level, to have the gift that God gave me to get a scholarship, to travel around the world. I'm forever grateful, and to have a chance to give something back now in terms of being in the ministry is my way of being able to say thank you to the Lord for, the ability to play, get an education, and the ability to coach to give something back to the game, which is great.
So we got another question. Right? Since you played in the All-Star game, you got to play with the Golden State Warriors. You said you played with the Chicago Bulls, but with the Golden State Warriors, you made your first All-Star.
Right.
And the question is, what do you think about today's All-Star game?
I don't know if I want to comment on that because I think I don't know if you would agree with me, but it's basically just entertainment. It's all entertainment. The guys are so good and so great. I mean, to score 200 points, my goodness gracious, So I mean, it's all entertainment. The players are great. I'm glad they went back to the East and West, and that makes it, I think, a little bit more exciting. But I would imagine, Mose, I don't know if I can even play in this time now, where everything is so fast and these kids are so good today. And I can call them kids because I'm 80 years old. So, but it's. I think it's really entertainment now.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna agree with you. This is Lowe's Moore's opinion. This is not Cassie Russell's opinion, but this is Lowe's opinion.
I hear you.
Right, and you will never see the game that Cassie played in, and the game All-Star game I watched that was highly competitive, almost like a real game. Right, you will never see that again. Number one, because there's too many players getting too much money, really, to take the All-Star game serious.
I hear you.
Right, and there's so many, in terms of the budgets, the amount of money that people that are playing. You do not want a player of that stature to be hurt in an All-Star game.
Absolutely.
And then everybody, let's play the All-Star game serious. No. Take the entertainment. You know, this is the one time where all your favorite the best players in the league come to a place and you can buy a ticket and actually see them. And then during the course of the week, you can actually go out to all the all-star stuff and may walk into some of the current players and some of the past players. This is the one time of the year. It will never go back to a serious competition because there's too much at stake.
Yeah, and I agree. I tell you,
Now here's the other question, Cassie.
Question?
To the people out there. Would you want your best player on your team to give his all in the All-Star game and with the potential of getting or the risk of getting hurt, or you want to see him competing for a championship? That's what you got to look at.
Yeah, you have to look at it, and of course, there's so much money, Lowe's, involved that even your opinion there really wouldn't matter because they make so much money during the All-Star week, and it's all about entertainment. You see the guys; nobody's guarding anybody, so. You can forget that. And so you're absolutely right. And to cover all of that, the fact that you don't want your player, Steph Curry or Luka Doncic to get hurt when you're trying to win a championship.
That's right.
And so you probably can't come out and say that, but we can because we're in a different situation. But as I look at it, and people call me all the time about the All-Star game, it's totally entertainment. And I see all of the great players that come, say the Big O, I saw Dr. J, I see all of the players I played against at the All-Star game. And I went to one in 2012 as I received the award, humanitarian award, the John Wooden Award. And it is amazing how fast this game has improved and how fast this game has gone to the next level. 2012, I don't even think I could have competed in that environment. But to be able to see that and to see the All-Star game, and the year that I went, they held it in both places, Barclays Center and in Madison Square Garden.
That's right, yeah. I was there when you, at the luncheon, when you got the award that time.
Right. And so the other funny thing about it is that New York itself is I don't know if I can say this and not step on any toes, but it's sort of outdated in terms of holding big events because, the places that you play in now, oh man, they are multifaceted places, But, what I remember about Madison Square Garden is the Ring of Barnum and Bailey circus that would come every year. But it's all entertainment, Lowe's.
Yeah, and it should be, right?
Yeah.
It should be about. This is the one time, right, that you get to come to a place, or we get to see on television, the best of the best.
Yes.
And let them just entertain you.
Entertainment and don't have to be fearful that they're going to get hurt.
Right.
So again, we have to. I think we're right on tap when we say that, because that's the general consensus.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
So stop asking for the competition. This is Lowe's. Not gonna go back.
Yeah, and don't come up to me and ask me, have I ever seen 200 points? Because that's what I want. I want entertainment.
Yeah,
you want to see Steph. You want to see Steph shooting a shot, then turn around and walk away before it goes in.
Yeah, you want to see him shooting from half court. Yeah,
that's right.
Just to show you the skill level. Of these guys. So as we get coming down to a close, man, I want to finish on talking about the importance and power of faith.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about because your wife, the time you spent with her, and talk about the faith journey you guys were on together as well.
Yeah, that's an important part, because I was in church, and at the end of service, the pastor came up to me, and I was standing in the circle talking about the service. And he looked at me and he said, Brother Cassie, there's a call on your life to minister. Lowe's, I could have gone through the floor, man. I panicked. Because
in front of 19,000 people, you panicked when one man said you were called.
this was after service, and we were standing in a circle, my wife and I and some other people. And he said, "Brother Cassie," and he looked me straight in the eyes, Lo, and he said, "There's a call on your life to minister." And I said, I mean, no, you got to be kidding. Not me. And so finally, the Lord said to me, "I don't make mistakes." He said, I'm sovereign. I choose who I want, when I want, where I want. And I 2 years later, after studying, I'm ordained, and my first message was about the woman with an issue of blood. I mean, it's just like it was like yesterday to get the call in 1987, and my life has gone to another level being in the ministry because, again, you know as well as I know that everyone has to make that decision to either accept Jesus Christ or reject him. We have to accept his redemptive work at Calvary. And as I've done several messages, a lot of people never realize why Jesus was born. He was born to set us free from sin and to reconcile us back to his Father. And that's what, eventually everyone is going to have to make that decision. Either you accept him or you reject him. And I've told people, you don't have to fall out about it. You're not going to change my call. My call is to preach and teach the gospel of Jesus Christ. And it's done by faith. For the Bible says, "For by grace have you been saved through faith, not of yourselves, lest any man would boast." So I'm very grateful that the one that gave me the gift, and now I preach representing him, and I get blessed in the interim.
I know that's
It doesn't
nice.
get any better than that, Lowe's, I'm telling you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about coaching, man, because I had the opportunity to play against you when you were coaching.
Right, right.
And you were coaching in the CBA.
That's right. That's right.
And we competed against you in, well, several times in Lancaster. I won't tell you any Lancaster experience in regards to the motel I stayed in Lancaster, but yeah, but going to compete against you, you always had your teams ready to compete. Phil was our coach.
Yeah, you guys were Albany Patroon.
Yeah, we were the Albany Patroon.
Yeah, and I had gotten the chance to go to Wyoming, and we were the Wyoming Wildcatters, and that was a great experience to be able to coach. As a matter of fact, from my coaching, I got a chance to go to the Chicago camp as a result of my coaching in the CBA, and the Lord blessed me with good opportunities to coach. I learned a lot. I took a lot from what I had learned and try to implement that into coaching. And my prayer has always been that, the guys will listen. And of course, the success that I had as a coach, I'm grateful for that. And to be able to just give something back to the game, Lowe's, in terms of teaching, I think is what has motivated me down through the years, taking what I've learned and implement that into the game itself to see if I can help others be productive like I was blessed to be. And so that's the coaching part was a wonderful experience starting in the CBA, and then having a stint with the Atlanta Hawks. But then when I got the call to the ministry, I think that sort of took priority because I think it's very difficult to be a pastor and to be a coach in the NBA. I think that's tough because when you're supposed to be in the pulpit, they want you to have shoot around at 10:30, 11. So
That's right.
It's tough. It's tough. But the call to be in the ministry has taken priority. But the Lord, in His faithfulness and His compassion, has allowed me to still do some coaching. But yet, my first priority is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, and that's what I have to do.
Yeah. And so now you're coaching.
Right.
Yeah.
Flagler College as a special assistant to Coach Mo Smith, who again is loves the Lord, is really solid in the Word, and of course he always asks me, "What's my word for the day, Coach?" and we share back and forth with the word, and that's good to be able to challenge each other in terms of the word, and especially during the pandemic. So, what a great experience to be able to coach, but also have an experience to share the gospel, and to know why we're blessed. And so it's been a great experience to be with Coach Mo and of course Mr. Damon, the athletic director. He and Coach Smith drove 2.5 hours down to Savannah after my wife had passed to talk me into coming down. And I said, I don't know if I want to coach anymore, but I'm just glad that they twisted my arm and had me come down, So, but it's been a great experience to be able to give something back to the game.
Yeah, and I want to show this last highlight here. I think I got one more highlight here.
Okay.
So let's.
50 years removed from his stellar career at the University of Michigan, Cazzie Russell is still the most productive player in Wolverines history. He rewrote the Michigan scoring record book in leading the Wolverines to 3 consecutive Big Ten titles and 2 straight Final Four appearances. A 2-time All-American, Cazzie capped off his career in 1966 in being named the College Basketball Player of the Year. The New York Knicks made him the NBA's #1 pick in the 1966 draft. Over 12 seasons with the Knicks, Golden State Warriors, LA Lakers, and Chicago Bulls, he averaged more than 15 points per game. He was a key figure in the Knicks' run to the 1970 NBA championship and became an All-Star in 1972 for the Warriors. Injuries forced an early retirement in 1978, and after serving as a coach and administrator at the college level for 2 decades, Cazzie went into ministry in Savannah, Georgia, a role he still serves in today. In 2011, he was inducted into the National College Basketball Hall of Fame. For his lifetime of leadership in and service to basketball, Cazzie Russell is the recipient of the 2016 Coach Wooden Keys to Life Award.
Wow. The house that Cazzie built.
Man, all I can say is God be the glory to look back over that and to be able to say that the Lord has really blessed me. It's a great experience to do something you enjoy, get an education, travel, and meet people. So I'm very, very grateful. I'm also very grateful for you for the opportunity to have this platform, Lowe's, and I trust that God will continue to bless this program of yours, you and your wife, and thank you again for the invite to come and share that with you.
Yeah, I thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. What's happening with the girls now? What's the conference champion playoffs?
Yes, sir. Yeah, the conference just ended, and we made it in. We kind of had some slips there along the way, but we still got in. We got a chance to avenge ourselves. We start the first round. The first 8 teams make it, and so I think we'll start playing this Thursday in the first round of the playoffs. So we did a good job. We made it. We had a few stumbles along the way, but we had new players this year, and we spent a lot of time getting acclimated to one another. But I think we get a chance to avenge ourselves this week in the playoff tournaments, which start on Thursday, I think, at Georgia Southwestern.
Wow. Well, Cazzie, man, I want to say thank you, man, for joining me. And I truly enjoyed it. I don't know if anybody else has enjoyed it out there to talk about the Knicks and all those wonderful players back in the day, man. And that I idolized back in the day, and especially all the lefties, and like Dick Barnett and Willis Reed. I tried to get Willis hooked down that little fadeaway jump shot. And I did try to actually for a little while try to do Dick Barnett's shot, but I couldn't keep that up. That takes too much energy. the kicking of the feet.
To kick your leg back, and then when he shot free throws, he tapped one foot behind the other.
Yeah.
He had some moments, man. I'm telling you.
Oh man,
what a great shooter, though. What a great shooter.
Yeah, amazing shooter, man.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
Well, it says Jalen Brunson, the lefty, got hurt tonight. I don't know what.
Oh.
Yeah.
Weren't they playing the Cavs tonight?
I don't know who they was playing
I
tonight.
think the Cavaliers. I trust that it's not.
Serious.
I hope it's not serious because I always pray for our girls that, no hurt, harm, or danger befall
the Cavs.
players. Yeah, so.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell's from up in this area. We had him at the Boys and Girls Club for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said talking about the knee.
Yeah,
injured the knee. Yeah. He's such a hard worker. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course everybody takes care. Hopefully, everybody takes care of themselves like LeBron does, huh?
Yeah, spend the money. Look.
Yeah, you got to spend.
You only get you get one body.
That's right. That's right.
You get one mind.
That's right. You got to take care of it.
You get one spirit, and you got to spend the money to make sure that you take care of yourself.
That's right. And listen, I just want you to know, man, that as a coach, I hated to coach against you because I didn't want my guys to let you go left.
I don't know if that was possible to stop me from going left, but
we listen. I told him we're gonna double team him and make him kick the ball up. We're not gonna let those beat us.
And you know what I remember? You guys we played. Bill Musselman was the coach.
Right.
And we were playing. You guys were beating us, and we made that little comeback just before halftime.
Okay.
And then I hit that shot from half court.
Oh, I couldn't believe that.
And the whole momentum shifted.
It shifted.
Yeah.
And I was kind of upset at my guy because I told him to pick you up. But you heaved that thing, man. But I always remember that playing there, and we beat you guys we played the first two there.
Mm-hmm.
And we beat you one time, and Musselman got upset because I changed my strategy a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we ended up going home 1-1 and played the next 3 in Wyoming.
That's right, and you could have finished it.
Yeah, so it was great. It was great, Lowe's, and God bless you for the podcast and the opportunity to share my life's experience, the fact that I had a chance to play, and also the fact that I'm in the ministry now. I pray for both you and your wife to continued success in the podcast, and the Lord would extend to you the platform to keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you, Kazi, man. Love you, man.
Love you.
And let me close out here. Just hold on for a minute. Okay. So I want to say thank you to each and every one who supported the Blueprint tonight and forever now. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you next week. And God bless you. And I say this each and every week. If the Lord allows you to wake up tomorrow, make tomorrow your masterpiece. God bless you and see you next week.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Lowe's More, the Blueprint Podcast. Stay connected and follow us at our website, www.lowesmore.com. That's LOWESMOORE.com. You can also join the discussion on Twitter at Lowe's More and on Facebook at Lowe's More Jr. As always, thank you for pushing your mindset towards a better reality. This concludes the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast to stay fully up to date with everything we're up to. Until next time, be kind to yourself and each other.
Vacation is a joke, I ain't buying it like I'm broke. Insufficient funds for insignificant.